I try to pick him up.
All right, hello and welcome, and thank you all for being here so much, and welcome to this City of Fort Walton Beach regular meeting of the City Council. We appreciate you being here. If you are with us tonight and you have an electronic device, if you could please make sure that you could put that on silent so it doesn't disturb our proceedings this evening. For those of you who are able to stand, please join us in an invocation from Pastor Andrew Bosack from the Cinco Baptist Church, and then continue standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pastor, I hope I didn't ruin your name.
You got it, man.
Okay,
you got it. Well done. Thank you. Let's pray together. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. Thank you for the beautiful weather and the new season that is upon us, Lord. We praise you for these good gifts. We thank you for the wonderful city of Fort Walton Beach and the blessed place that we enjoy and get to live in and just take in the glory and the beauty of your creation. Lord, I do pray that you would bless this meeting, that it would be rooted in truth and goodness, justice and mercy, and Lord, that you would be glorified. It says on the wall, in God we trust. Lord, we do express our trust in you to lead and guide and be faithful. I do pray for these leaders and these officials as they plan and think about the future and to see the city flourish and grow and to be fruitful. Bless their efforts and Lord, just continue to lead and guide and direct. We thank you for the Lord Jesus Christ and for the salvation that we can enjoy and receive through his death on the cross. And it's in his blessed name that I pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for that, Pastor. Miss Debbie. All right, Council, we'll need approval of tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Jeter, seconded by Councilman Merrill to approve tonight's agenda. Any further comments?
Okay.
Council, please vote. And the agenda does pass unanimously. Moves us to item 5 on our agenda, which is recognitions. And if I know we do have Dr. Paul Shue here. Doctor, if you could step up to the podium for us. We have a presentation for you, sir. I know you're not someone who likes to receive personal recognition, so I hope that this is not a little awkward, but we, for the first time in our city's history, at least since I've been around, and I think since anyone could recall, we've never given away a key to the city. We've handed out a lot of pins and a lot of awards and things of that nature, but this is something special that, you know, I kind of wanted to bring into our city that other cities do, and I couldn't think of a better first recipient than you, sir. And Mr. Schmidt as well was he's not here tonight, out with his kids coaching golf, but very, very special. So I'd like to just read this to you if you wouldn't mind. This year, as we celebrate our nation's 250th birthday, we're reminded that the American story is one of opportunity, perseverance, and shared purpose. Dr. Paul Shue's journey embodies that story. Arriving in the United States from Taiwan in 1976 with just $500 and a belief in the promise of this country, he built a successful career as a technology entrepreneur and community leader. But perhaps even more importantly, he chose to give back. Through the Shue Educational Foundation, Dr. Shue brought together business leaders, educators, and community partners to address a very critical need: cultivating a more skilled workforce through strong educational programming. While his vision sparked the effort, the Foundation's impact is the result of the dedicated staff, teachers, volunteers, mentors, donors, and partners who share in that mission. Dr. Shue has always been clear that recognition should not rest on one person alone, but reflect the collective work of the Foundation and the community it serves. In that spirit, it's my honor to present the key to the city of Fort Walton Beach to Dr. Paul Shue in recognition of his leadership, generosity, and steadfast belief in the American dream, and in celebration of the Shue Educational Foundation's ongoing commitment to empowering students and strengthening our community. As we mark 250 years of this great nation, Dr. Shu's 50-year journey and the work of the Shu Educational Foundation stand as a powerful reminder that the American dream is not only something to be achieved, but something to be shared in service to others. Congratulations, Dr. Shu.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. It is absolutely my honor and privilege and grateful to receive this key to the city. It really means a lot more for me because this is from my hometown. It's been more than 40 years, about 50 years now. Maggie and I, we choose this area as our home. So I'm kind of a living proof of anybody want to raise family, start their own business, or fulfill their own American dream. This is probably the perfect place. So, but this honor, it really belongs to everyone who worked with me for many, many years, friends, partners, community leaders, and share the same commitment that we believe that we're going to make this city as a little better city and for our future generation. So thank you so much for this honor, and it really means a lot to me.
Amanda, scoot on in.
Amanda, please.
Dr. Shu, if you take you can put this up in the photo, we'll be right here behind. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Thank you, Dr. Shu. All right, unfortunately, the person who has to follow that is our city manager. With some employee recognitions. Go ahead, sir.
Our first victim is Thomas Sutton, golf course maintenance. Is Thomas here? This is here.
Let's go, Tom Ed.
Thank you. Thanks.
And Dustin Henderson with 10 years in our fleet department.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Brings us to tonight's consent agenda. Council, do you have any action to take on that?
So moved to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Jeter, seconded by Councilwoman DeBerry to approve tonight's consent agenda. Any additional comments?
No, sir.
Council, please vote. And it does pass unanimously. Brings us to item 7, mayor and council comments. We start tonight with Councilman Merrill.
Good.
All right, Councilwoman Riley.
I just want to quickly thank the city for giving me the opportunity to attend the Northwest Florida Economic Symposium. I had a wonderful time, gained a lot of knowledge within the Northwest Florida region on the economic growth and trends that we have facing our region. So I was very, very proud to be a part of it and enjoyed being there and got lots of good information that we as a city can use. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilman Walker.
None at this time, thank you.
All right. Councilwoman DeBerry.
Nothing at this time.
You got it. Councilman Jeter.
Yes, sir. Mr. Shue just stepped out, but I was going to add on to what you said earlier, and I know Councilmember Schmidt has told us many stories over the years being in education, but there are a lot of kids in this community that have been to his facility and have been affected in a very positive way. So I know he stepped out, but I just wanted to personally tell him thank you for all that he's done for the youth in our community, because it was a few paragraphs, but he's done a lot more than that. So
No doubt about it. Amen. I'll second that. All right, we'll move on to public comments. Anyone from the public tonight that wishes to comment on anything that's not on tonight's agenda? So just, if you'd like to step on up and state your name and your address, and we'll go from there.
Sure. Hey, I'm Craig Ewing. I live in Niceville 502 Blackwater Run, and I'm the business manager for Stagecrafters Community Theater. I'm also the unofficially elected representative of the performing arts groups here in the city. And we're here to just address you guys tonight about the old girl next door, the auditorium, and the future of the auditorium. As we received notice from the council this year that the future after 26 was uncertain, we've been discussing amongst the groups that are here tonight, and I'll introduce them in just a second, what we were going to do with all the performing arts that use this facility next door. And just today, we got new news from Jason about the ability for us to at least use it in 27 now if we continue the same fire watch procedures, which is awesome, and we thank for that. But we wanted to still come and make you aware from all the groups that use it just how important that facility is and why it is important to us. There are the groups that are here tonight that are represented, not just Stagecrafters, but also Mosaic Children's Theater Company, Pyramid, Performing Arts for the adults and with the developmental disabilities, City of Fort Walton Beach Community Chorus, the Rocky Bayou Christian School, St. Mary's Catholic Church, Studio 625 Ballet Studio, Fred Astaire Dance Studio, and a lot of other groups in this town that use that facility to perform the theatrical and performing arts. A lot of those groups also, they provide assistantships to low-income families. They to participate in performing arts. They do educational scholarships, assistance to people with disabilities, grants to students pursuing fine arts, donations to a lot of the charitable organizations in the community. And we don't want the city to lose this function. But without that facility, we are strapped as to how we're going to perform in the future. The auditorium, if you know or don't know, there really is no other facility like that in town, in the whole city of Fort Walton Beach. It's the right size, it's not too big, it's not too small. You can make it financially feasible to operate in it. It's a raised stage with a rake seating. There only one other place in this area besides the high schools that have that, and that's Mattie Kelly Arts Center. It's got wings on the side of the stage for sets, and it's got dressing rooms and bathrooms in the back which are needed for doing performances. And it has light and sound technical capabilities that none of the other places have. We know it's old because we live in it many weeks out of the year. We know it has its problems, but it is our home. And for some of these organizations, it has been our home for more than 55 years, been performing in that facility. Other facility options have been looked at. I know you guys have talked about, well, have you looked at these types of things? The cost of the auditorium to rent is within the budgets of all of these 501c3 organizations. Other facilities like the convention center, the Rigdon Center, things like that are just too expensive to be able to be used. The seating size allows groups to do it and recoup the needed cost. The other viable solutions are sometimes located in another city, which is not conducive to Fort Walton. The high schools use their stages. You can't monopolize their stage for 2 or 3 weeks in the high schools, and the churches just don't have the kind of stages you need. So Another note to know is that the theatrical performing arts have to secure their rights a year in advance to get them for next year. That's why when Jason told me today that we would have 27, we can now go and get our rights for 27 for the shows that want to go on. But I think we're going to be right back here in 28 with the same question again, right? So we want to know, we really want to work with the city to figure out what is the future. What is the future of this building? I know it has issues that are expensive to fix, but we would like to work with you guys to figure out what we do. To bulldoze it down and not have a replacement would really impact the arts for Fort Walton. So that's what we came here to tell you guys tonight. And there's a lot of people represented from all those groups here.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
And I would just say this on behalf of someone who's been on the council. I used to sit over there for 8 years, and now I'm over here for God knows how long. But it's certainly something that everybody wants to find a solution for. I think that the bigger problem is that we need this building that we're sitting in replaced as well. So if that's going to be a part of the solution, this also has to all be replaced at the same time. The cost of those things has not been something that any council previous has been willing to look at in a real serious way. But now we're getting to the point, even with this building, with the city hall facilities, that it's really escalating. So I think that you guys all showing up here tonight and making your voices heard, and those emails that you send to the council to say, hey, we love this building, we need this building, we use this building, and so many people in this community have been impacted, whether they're performing there themselves, whether they're seeing shows. I mean, I remember we had city council candidate forums over there in that building. It's been used for generations and generations, but unfortunately it's showing that age. So we do want to find a solution. It's just the cost is so prohibitive, and all the other projects kind of make that go down. But at some point, I think our council is going to have to seriously look at that building and this building and say, hey, we can't kick the can any further. So you guys all showing up here tonight is definitely a good indication of the passion that exists for it. Anyone else from the public want to speak on any items that are not on tonight's agenda? Mr. Williams, I see you there. I know you want to speak.
I will yield to anyone else if there's someone else.
Go ahead, sir.
I like that, Mr. Williams. You don't usually call me Mr. Williams.
I'm trying to be formal, sir.
Hello, I'm Mr. Williams, the president of the Oakland County branch NAACP here in Oakland County, and I just wanted to come before you tonight just to give you an update of where we are when we last met and talked about the establishment of a representational government proposal. I wrote this all down because I sometimes get nervous, and that's why I'm looking for somebody to represent me rather than me stand here all the time. But the purpose of this committee was to provide the City Council with a concise update on the activities, progress, and next steps of a working team who is developing a proposal for a hybrid City Council election system. Let me give you just a little bit of background. Community stakeholders, civic leaders, and leaders of the NAACP convened in late 2025 to examine representation, accountability, and equity within the current election structure. We brought our concerns right here to the council, and we left with a charge to bring back a proposal for forming a representational form of government, aka a hybrid system. And that's a system that would mix a defined number of single-member districts with some at-large seats. Recent activities. So starting up, we organized a 7-person working team made up of members of the local community along with some members of the NAACP supporting staff. And this team was tasked to research best practices, review comparable Florida cities, and draft a proposal, if you will, for a hybrid model. And keeping in mind, we want one that balances neighborhood representation with citywide governance. And they were also asked to develop a fully defendable map outlining the recommended zones. Now, the team's work needed to align with long-standing community interests in ensuring all neighborhoods have a meaningful voice in municipal decision-making. So part of what we did was research and benchmarking. We completed a review of the hybrid district-based systems used in Pensacola, Tallahassee, Gainesville, and even in Crestview. We identified some common benefits, including improved neighborhood advocacy, clear lines of accountability, and increased voter engagement. Then we began drafting a proposal components, if you will, just the components. We developed some preliminary language outlining the structure of a hybrid system. We began drafting supporting materials, including rationale statements, frequently asked questions, and community education content, if you will. And then we went to a community engagement preparation. We outlined a plan for public research, outreach, which included a public town hall meeting that we actually held yesterday. It wasn't that well attended, but we did have some folks come and provide some information. And we're in the process of developing some informational flyers along with some digital communications to further inform the public. And we expect to maybe have one other public hearing before we actually bring the proposal before you. So during the town hall meeting, we addressed some key questions and concerns raised by some of the residents who were there, and we're factoring in those concerns into our final proposal. And of course, then one of the last steps is the legal and procedural review. And so we've initiated a review of the charter amendment requirements and statutory considerations, and we're preparing to align proposal language with the city's legal framework for ballot placement and council considerations. And of course, we will be relying quite a bit on Mr. Burns when it comes to that kind of language. But we're just trying to make sure that we have all of our I's dotted and our T's crossed. Current status, the team is in the refinement phase right now. We're integrating research findings, legal guidance, and community feedback into a unified proposal. And then a draft framework will be completed. Detailed language and supporting documents are in progress. And the team remains on track to deliver a full proposal for council review within an anticipated time frame. Our next steps are to finalize the draft proposal and supporting materials to conduct another targeted community listening session, and to complete the legal review to ensure compliance with charter amendment procedures, and then last but not least, to present the full proposal to the City Council for your consideration in next step guidance. In my closing, I'd like to say that the team really appreciates the Council's attention to this effort and the support that you have provided us. In fact, I certainly want to thank Mr. Davis for all the support you've given us. Nothing we've asked for have you not given us, other than the pizza that we were looking for last night. We were hoping for pizza, but you didn't bring us any. But we remain committed to developing a proposal that strengthens representation, enhances accountability, and supports the long-term governance needs of the city of Fort Walton Beach. And we hope to have that back to you within at least the next 30 days.
So just time-wise, you have some deliverables, some hard dates that you have to meet. So I think talking with Mr. Burns today, you're going to present your pitch on the next council, which is what, the 24th? I don't know.
Yeah, 24th. We were going to move it up.
2 readings in April if we go with an ordinance. Is that basically what's shaking?
If the council decides to move forward with it, they do that process in lieu of the petition process, which is the alternate way to do it. So if the council does elect to do it, it would take 2 readings in April. But then I don't know what Mr. Lux's deadline is to get everything in for a referendum.
The end of May.
He said end of May, so you talked to him. So if you know end of May.
By the end of the qualifying deadline for the primaries.
Did he tell you that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And so operating off that, then the council only has 1 meeting in May and 2 meetings in April, so you're going to need to get it pretty quick turnaround, I'd say.
And we're pretty much ready to go. We just want to kind of tweak some finer points, but we'll be ready at the next council meeting.
Outstanding.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else from the public wish to speak on any items not on tonight's agenda? Seeing none, we will move on to item 9 under resolutions. Specifically, well, we'll give everyone a moment to clear out.
It's not rehearsal.
It's a lot of y'all. Hey, appreciate y'all being here tonight. Seriously.
Thank you.
Resolution 2026-06, a resolution to accept Florida Wildflower Foundation grants for a library garden.
Yeah, well, it's a pretty straightforward resolution. It really is kind of exciting, particularly for the library and the garden club in the downtown area. So the library went out of its way to find the grant, wrote the grant, submitted the grant, and got approval. It's only $550, but it's going to put a wildflower garden right there in front of the library. Currently a butterfly garden there that's kind of in disarray. So the library staff is very excited about this, and we encourage your approval.
Thank you, sir. Questions on this matter from council? Anyone from the public wish to speak on this item? Council, you wish to take any action tonight?
I make a motion to approve the wildflower garden grant for the library.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Ms. DeBerry, I believe seconded by Ms. Riley, to approve resolution 2026-06 to accept the Florida Wildflower Foundation grant for a library garden. Any additional comments? Ms. DeBerry.
Yes, thank you for reaching out and finding a grant for that. I know I've been looking for plants and flowers and to help with the cemetery and all that too. Thank you very much. I think it's going to be nice, a nice addition.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else?
I'd like to also say thank you so much for seeking out funding. Community gardens and any type of garden has play a major role in quality of life, and so I do believe in beautiful flower gardens and all those sort of things. But can you promise me some sunflowers? Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Council, please vote. Does pass 5-0. And thank you, Mr. Filarity, for the presentation. Brings us to item 10, ordinances on first reading, specifically ordinance 2205, an ordinance for the annexation of 353 Beale Parkway Northwest. Mr. Burns.
Thank you, Mayor. And actually, I'm going to do this for all three items, 10-1, 10-2, 10-3, because they're all three the same applicant and it's the same property. And so I'll do the ex parte colloquy to cover all three of them here at once so we don't have to repeat it. So, Mr. Berry, has anyone from the public contacted you about this matter on the annexation or the other two ordinances related to it? And or did anyone, the applicant, contact you?
No, sir.
Mr. Jeter?
No, sir.
Mr. Allegretti?
No, sir.
Mr. Merrill? Mr. Riley?
No, sir.
Mr. Walker?
No, sir.
Okay, so that'll stand for all three hearings, and so then I'll do the first reading, or read the ordinance. Ordinance 2205, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Fort Walton Beach, Florida, annexing into the city limits of Fort Walton Beach, Florida, a parcel of land situated in the unincorporated area of Okaloosa County, more particularly described in the body of the ordinance with the physical address of 353 Beale Parkway Northwest, Fort Walton Beach, Florida, provide for a municipal boundary, provide for an effective date. This is a quasi-judicial hearing, and Mr. Gibson can raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and the truth, so help you God? I do. Okay. You're on the right.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tim Gibson, Growth Management Director for the city. So this project started probably about 8 months ago. The property owners reached out to us. They were having a problem. They've got septic on the property right now. They were wanting to connect into a sewer line. They reached out to the county. They do have some wetlands on their property, and where the county lines were at, it was going to be extremely difficult and expensive for them to basically run a new sewer line through the wetlands and everything just to connect to their property. So they did reach out to the city to kind of talk to us about whether or not they would actually be able to get onto the city sewer out there. They are directly next to current city, the city border. So did work with Mr. Payne to make sure that utilities would be able to be provided for there. And then on December 16th of last year, they did formally apply for the annexation, and that's where those three ordinances are going to come here. The first is for the annexation, the second is for the future land use assignment, and then the third is for the zoning designation for the property. So this property is approximately 2.85 acres, and it does currently have an Okaloosa County future land use designation of low density residential and commercial. See, Nick, if you want to switch it, the map is a little bit easier to understand. on there. So it is a little bit strange in that it has two future land uses for the same property. The northern half of it is zoned for residential, and the southern part is zoned for commercial use. I'm sorry, the future land use for commercial and low density residential for the northern part of that. Chapter 171.044 Florida statutes dictates the process for the voluntary annexation. Staff did go through that and did find that the property is contiguous to the city limits, that it is less than 50 acres. It would not create an enclave. It is not included in the boundary of another municipality and is adjacent on at least 60% of its external boundary to areas developed for urban purposes, which is all the requirements in Florida statute for that. In addition, staff has analyzed the request to ensure consistency with the comprehensive plan and the impact on city services. The proposed future land use designation is going to be LDR, and the proposed zoning is R1, single family residential, which we do believe is compatible with the adjacent properties. Police services will be provided by the City of Police Department, and fire first response will be provided by the city's fire department. As with all annexations in our area, Ocean City Right does, it's in Florida statute, specifically 90.478 laws of Florida, that does state that we do have to pay Ocean City Right for 10 years, whatever the ad valorem they would have received on there for that is. The current taxable value of the property is $410,564, which is equivalent to approximately a little over $1,700 in ad valorem revenue. Of that, $1,129.05 of that will have to be paid out to the Ocean City Right Fire Control District annually for a 10-year period on that, and then that will be done after that one. Of note on this one, that does have a budgetary impact relating to the 3% cap on there, as while the revenue is going to be coming in, the expense that we have to pay out to Ocean City Right would have to be captured under that cap in there. And with that, staff respectfully recommends City Council adoption of ordinance number 2205 to voluntary annex 353 Beale Parkway Northwest into the city limits of Fort Walton Beach.
Thank you, sir. Question from the council for Mr. Gibson on this? Mr. Walker.
Thank you, Mr. Gibson. Can you direct me on this map? Which properties are county and which properties are city? I didn't see them distinguished in that way.
So the dashed off line there is the current city limits.
That's the city limits there.
Inside of there, like along Ewing Court, that's all city property. Across the street, south of that dashed dot line is all city right now. The rest of that is county.
So half of the property sits in the city and half of it sits in the county. Is the yellow and red, is that, or is just, oh, I see. No, I see the dash line there. So I'm having trouble, and maybe I'll go back and look at the LPA meeting. Mr. Burns had filled me in before the meeting that they spoke there, because I spoke with a developer as well. Can you explain further the costs that the county would charge the applicant for running water and sewer there?
Yeah.
Do you understand, or can you?
I believe I do.
Okay.
So the property owners are the ones who are handling all of that. So
right.
Really the most expensive part of that cost is on that property, and it's hard to see on here. There is some wetlands basically from Cinco Bayou. It does go into the property there, and the sewer line would have to be run across that. Which would be on their own property and their own expense to run that sewer line on the property, versus if they come off of a sewer line from the city, the city does have utility easements in between the property lines off of Ewing Court. The city could run a sewer line through there to give them a tap to connect to, and they won't have to run it as far across the property or have to deal with any of the wetland issues and stuff there. So it's really just on their own property. It's going to be a lot cheaper for them to run those lines. It's not necessarily the cost to connect to sewer, it's the cost for the infrastructure that they would have to do on their own property.
Where the water access, the water supply line comes onto their property?
The sewer line is the big one.
The sewer line? Because
yes.
I was looking at there on the corner of Oak Street, right? That's that yellow triangle or rectangle there. That is the Ocean City Fire Department, right? So
that's correct.
And I'll go back and look at the LPA and maybe reach out to the county on it, because one of the reasons I'm concerned about this is obviously the impact on the 3% that we've been talking about, how impactful and how tight things are. And here we are taking on an expense to voluntarily accept someone into it, and then we're going to have to pay Ocean City Right $1,130. Now, I was curious, on that $1,130, that's based on the property value today at $410. If it were to transfer hands today, would that $1,130 be locked in, or would it change depending on the valuation of the property over the 10 years?
I believe that Nicole, maybe you can answer more on this one. So it will change based off the value,
okay.
But I believe the rate is locked in. So if Ocean City Right were to raise their millage rate,
right.
say, I believe we're locked in at the current millage rate, but the property value.
So the rate's locked in, but the value could go up. So that $1,130 that we're having to pay for 10 years could become $1,260, $1,290, $1,350, that kind of stuff. So those things came to my mind on the long term of it, and I really want to understand how it's surrounded by county property and they're having trouble having to pay for the utility. Tap fees, our tap fees, are they the same as the counties or higher or lower?
I don't have that.
Okay.
And again, I don't think it's as much. They could get the sewer line and stuff to the property line there off of Circle Drive. At that point, though, it's the resident's responsibility to get the sewer, to get from that connection at the property line to their house.
To their house.
That's the difficult part for them. It's not that the county can't provide it.
Gotcha.
It's just that for them, it's cost prohibitive and just much more difficult dealing with running the line across the property from that side.
Have you heard from Mr. Payne on how much it'll cost the city to get our sewer line onto their property where they need it? I mean, up to their property? Do we know that financial number?
I don't have a specific number. I mean, I don't know if...
Oh, there you are, Mr. Payne. I was looking for you back there.
Hi.
So how much is it, basically?
Sure, start there.
Fee schedule. I mean, we're coming from Ewing Court, so it's a, you know, not really too much different than a residential, almost like the home is by the street, since we have utility easement on the side.
That's coming from, I can only imagine that easement is running down the side or one of those.
Ewing Court has interior lot and rear easements per plat. If you look at the easement layer on, I mean, they're all easements on the plat.
So
we come through the side of Ewing Court.
You come through the front of Ewing Court to go to the back of that property. Correct. And connect on the side.
Yeah, that was the most beneficial. And that was, I think this whole process started with our department because I do believe the county would not hook them up. So they were kind of left out, and you know, we don't do anything unless...
You think the county wouldn't hook them up? Is that what you said?
That was according to the resident that I spoke to.
So on that fee schedule, it's going to be by per feet. Do you know how many feet from the road back to their property?
It's not per feet. It's the standard cost for a tap and impact.
Okay, tap and impact.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I will add that they used to be waived for annexations, but I think that's passed, so we don't do that anymore. So
there's no discount applied or anything. It's full
whatever's
price.
in the comprehensive fee schedule for
gotcha.
Single water and sewer tap and impact fee is what, you know.
Right.
There might be some pavement patching stuff, but that's it.
Gotcha. But no cost estimate at this time. It's just.
Yeah, we waited for this process to do official quote, like a binding quote, but
spitball
it's for tap. It's like I think it's. Yeah, I'm gonna do 4-digit math in my head, and I'm gonna get it wrong. But it's
no carry.
The impact fee is $1,880 for water, $600 for sewer. The tap for water, I do believe, is $1,200. Okay. And then sewer, I think, is about the same. So you're looking at probably everything for under $5. Gotcha. And if there's some asphalt work from Ewing Court.
But the homeowner pays that.
Correct.
$5,000.
Or someone.
Somewhere.
Yeah, not us.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, whether it's a contractor, plumber, however they do it.
Gotcha.
I've seen it different ways.
Great. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
You got it. Mr. Gibson, can I ask you one question just so I can clear that up, because there's a lot of statements and questions there. I know you said this, but some of Councilman Walker's questions might have thrown someone off if they're watching this in the public or going back and watching this. The city is not, while the city is actually paying a portion of the ad valorem revenue to the Ocean City Wright Fire Department. That's out of the ad valorem revenue that the city is collecting, right, when the property annexes into the city.
In theory, yes.
Well, as it currently is situated with its current value, and maybe this is more from its neighbors, but it's valued at $410,000, equivalent to approximately $1,770 in ad valorem revenue. So the city takes that ad valorem revenue and then is required to give Ocean City Wright Fire Department a portion of that ad valorem revenue. So that's not new money that we're just now paying to Ocean City because we annexed this property. It's because the city is now taking in more revenue, and a portion of that has to go out under this thing that was made in the Florida legislature, correct?
That is correct. I mean, the only time that could remotely possible not be that is if the city did lower our millage rate to below whatever the Ocean City Wright one, then. But
or if the property value went down below the $1,129.05.
I mean, both will rise or lower,
which would
together
seem very implausible, correct?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Just wanted to clear that up so that everybody understood what we were talking about. Anyone else with questions for Mr. Gibson or Mr. Payne on this issue? Yes, Ms. Riley.
So, Mr. Gibson, can you tell me how would this be advantageous for this family to annex into the city? I kind of get the feeling that as far as the city, that we probably would most likely benefit more on this annexation rather than losing out on dollars. So apparently it's something that we're offering for this family, I'm assuming, right, to want to annex into the city. And so I kind of feel like it must be, quality of services that the city can provide. But how will it be advantageous, in your best professional opinion, for the annexation to proceed?
I mean, just the first and foremost one is the primary reason the property owners have shared with me is just the cost savings that they will have off of just connecting to the sewer versus staying on, because they got concerned with environmental impacts as well as the failing system for their septic system on there. So for that, and then obviously, beyond that, the benefits that the city does offer. I mean, with our recreation, police, fire, all those types of services that, the city just provides above and beyond what the county provides. In there, obviously the benefits, but primarily for them, I believe the driver is just simply the cost savings for the connections to the utilities.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else questions? Anyone from the public wish to speak on this item? Council, do you wish to take any action tonight?
Mr. Mayor, so moved to adopt ordinance 2205, annexation of 353 Bill Parkway.
Motion made by Councilman Jeter, seconded by Councilwoman DeBerry to approve ordinance 2205 for the annexation of 353 Beale Parkway Northwest. Any additional comments?
I look forward to seeing the project get complete, and welcome to the city.
Gotcha. Anyone else wish to speak? Council, please vote. And the results remain a mystery. 4-1. All right, we'll just briefly tap dance here because we do need Mr. Burns back in the room to proceed with the next ordinance item. So if anyone has a song that they would like to sing for the council, we would certainly accept that, provided that it is less than 2 minutes.
Just had stage practice.
I know. We should have certainly kept them here.
You got a song switching.
Do we need them to reject the bids?
No. Yeah, we don't. So let's move up first to item 11.1 on the agenda, rejecting of bids for ICB 25-013 for wayfinding signs for the community redevelopment area. Mr. Gibson.
Hi, good evening. It's a fairly straightforward one. So the community redevelopment area did put out the request to, this has been several years in the works, for putting in new wayfinding signs throughout the CRA district. We did do a study several years ago, and then this past year in December, it did go out for bids for actually producing all the signs for there. The bid opening was held on January 15th, 2026. There was a very wide range of proposals provided in there. At the February 24, 2026 CRA board meeting, the decision was made at that point to just go ahead and kind of shelve this for a little while based on the costs and other priority projects that were going on. But with that one, as it was a formal bid that was put out there, City Council does have to make the formal decision to officially reject all of those bids. So pursuant to the City of Fort Walton Beach Code of Ordinances and the purchasing policies and procedures, staff respectfully recommends City Council vote to reject all bids for invitation to bid number 25-013 for wayfinding signs for the Community Redevelopment Agency, CRA.
Thank you, Mr. Gibson. I may have missed it. I was trying to pay close attention. Did you say why you were recommending to not accept any of these bids?
Yeah, so it was presented, all the bids were presented at the CRA meeting. The CRA board made the decision at that time that we would just not move forward with that project.
So that's why I missed it.
So then it has to come before City Council for the formal rejection.
So the bid went out. It was not turnkey, so it was going to be a ridiculous amount of labor on the operations staff, and it's not take a sign down and put one up. There was substantial concrete work, etc.
Gotcha. Questions on this for Mr. Gibson from the council? Anyone from the public wish to speak on this item? See none, council, you wish to take any action tonight?
Mr. Mayor, so moved to reject bids for ITV 25-013, the wayfinding signs on the CRA.
Motion made by Councilman Jeter, seconded by Councilwoman DeBerry to reject all bids for ITB 25-013. Any additional comments?
No, sir.
Council, please vote. It does pass unanimously. We'll head back to item 10.2 and ordinance 2206. Mr. Burns.
Thank you, Mayor. And then just for the record, we already did the colloquy on ex parte communications in the previous hearing. This is ordinance number 2206, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Fort Walton Beach, Florida, amending the city's comprehensive plan to amend the future land use map for 353 Beale Parkway Northwest to low density residential LDR, providing for authority, providing for findings of fact, providing for consistency, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. This is first reading, a quasi-judicial hearing, and Mr. Gibson will present on behalf of staff.
Hi. Good evening. So this is the second step after the annexation. We have to establish a future land use for the property. I'm not going to go back over the whole property unless you have questions on it. As I did mention, can you go back to the first one? I'm sorry. This is what's existing on there for the future land use. It does have the commercial and then the low density residential on there. With this annexation, go ahead, go to the second one. We're just going to do the future land use for low density residential for the whole property. The city doesn't really recognize having splits on the properties. It's very unusual to see something like that. So we are looking to go to a low density residential on there. The proposed flume designation of LDR, we do find that it is compatible with the surrounding area and that it is consistent with the city's comprehensive plan and land development code. And the process for adoption of the future land use amendment has followed all the requirements of sections 163.3184 of the Florida statutes. And one of those requirements is that this is not located within an area of critical state concern. And with that, staff respectfully recommends City Council adoption of ordinance 2206 to amend the city's future land use map to designate the future land use for 353 Beale Parkway Northwest as low density residential.
Thank you, sir. Questions on this item for Mr. Gibson? Anyone from the public wish to speak on this item? Council, do you wish to take any action tonight?
So moved to adopt ordinance 2206.
Motion made by Councilman Jeter, seconded by Councilman Merrill to approve ordinance 2206 to amend the future land use map for 353 Beale Parkway Northwest to low density residential. Any additional comments? Council, please vote. And it does pass 4-1. Moves us to item 10.3 and ordinance 2207. Mr. Burns again.
And then just for the record, the ex parte colloquy was already done before item 10.1 for all the council members. This is ordinance number 2207, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Fort Walton Beach, Florida, provide for authority, provide for findings of fact, provide for property described as 353 Beale Parkway Northwest, more particularly described in the body of the ordinance to be zoned R1 Single Family Residential Zoning District, providing for the amendment of the effective portion of the official zoning map, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. This is a quasi-judicial hearing. Mr. Gibson will present on behalf of staff, and he's already been sworn in.
So this is the third and final step for this, is assigning the zoning for this. The county zoning map looks very similar. Nick, if you want to bring that up. So same colors, just different meanings as zoning instead of future land use. It's R1 and C3 is what the county considers those in there. I'm sorry, that's this is what we're proposing to go to, is the R1 zoning district. So again, just to clean that up on there, there are some requirements in section 2.1.5 of the city's land development code for the criteria used in determining the zoning district. The first is that is consistent with the future land use category, which if it does go through on second reading, will be the low density residential on there. Second, that is compatible with the uses in adjacent zoning districts with all the residential around there. We find that it is. And whether or not it is substantially more or less intense than allowable development on adjacent properties. Obviously, the commercial developments or properties in the county are going to be more than that, but as it is mostly surrounded by residential, we feel that it is not in that one. And then the final requirement is whether the requested use is based on soil types, topography, protection of natural resources, and protection of designated historic areas. This typically comes into play a lot more when there's actually proposed development on the property. This being a single-family home already on there and established, they're not planning any developments at the time, but that property is in an area that is has potential wetlands on it, and it is also an archaeologically sensitive area, so any developments in the future would have to go through extra reviews for those two things on there. With that, staff does find that it's consistent with the proposed future land use, that it is compatible with the use in the adjacent zoning districts, and that it is not more intense or less intense than the adjacent parcels. And staff does respectfully recommend City Council adoption of Ordinance 2207 to designate the zoning for 353 Beale Parkway Northwest as single-family residential R1.
Thank you, sir. Questions on this one for Mr. Gibson? Anyone from the public wish to speak on Ordinance 2207? Council, you wish to take any action tonight?
Mr. Mayor, so move to adopt ordinance 2207 to assign R1 to 353 Beale Parkway Northwest.
Motion made by Councilman Jeter and seconded by Councilwoman DeBerry to approve Ordinance 2207. Any additional comments?
I will say one thing I said earlier, welcome to the city. Thank you for coming to the city, and look forward to the project getting done. But I will also say you're going to find out that Daniel and his team provide great service. I'm sure Tim already has through this process, but just sitting here, I was thinking about a project I did many years ago, and a vacant lot sat there for many years, and we connected to it. And the very first day that people moved in the house, it flooded and the sewage backed up. But Daniel and his team, because we connected to an old sewer line that went underneath the road and had roots and trees on the other side of the ground, I remember it vividly. It was raining, it was cold, it was late, and Daniel and this was 10 years ago, and his team had 7 people out there working in the dark, in lights, under the rain, and the people that bought in the house and live in the city of Walton Beach could not have been happier with the service. So I'm sure they'll experience the same type of service. So welcome to the city.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else?
Our population this
Very true. Council, please vote. And it does pass 4-1. Brings us to item 12, city manager reports.
All right, so I dropped the ball. Stage Crafters was here earlier. I told them I would publicly state that if it came across that I was blaming them for the state of that auditorium next door, I would purposely say that was not my intent. So that's on me. I want to golf clap Lucy in our GIS department. She made some maps for Sabu's presentation last night, and they were fantastic. Like 7 maps at the last minute. So golf clap for her. Cleanup Saturday with the Ocean Hour crew. I mean, probably 15 or so city staff, but the Ocean Hour crew, they always show up there. They're super great to work with, so that was fun. I'm going to butcher this name, but Kira Hayogi in our communications dispatch, FPCA Communication Dispatcher of the Year. And PD as a whole was recognized by the FPCA for their innovative approach. So cool awards there. Golf is still cooking. Cooper sold the first ever corporate membership to Beast Code, so Cooper went beast mode. Steamboat landing, I know there's some people watching that I get these questions constantly, so that was issued, I want to say Thursday, by the judge to proceed, so Alyssa and the CRA is working on that nuisance abatement program, so Steamboat landing is short-lived. And I just want to read, we did a survey to our seniors that use Preston Hood, and I have the results here, and they're amazing. I enjoy my classes now that I attend. Please keep the cost under control. I will, no matter what, love this place. Love the workout, chair yoga. Field trips and outdoor activities, that's all it says. Love coming here, very friendly staff, clean facility. I am happy with the friendly atmosphere. Thumbs up to you all. And my personal favorite, please add free hamburgers. That's all I have.
Awesome, thank you, sir. City Attorney reports?
Nothing tonight.
Got it. Final comments from the council. I believe we started with Mr. Merrill.
I hope everybody went out and voted today, and looking forward to seeing the results of that election, but that's really all I have to know.
I would add to that, Mr. Merrill, we don't have any results yet because I'm sure there's some ongoing legal situations that won't allow us to see many results right away, but the voting turnout so far has been counted at unofficially 2,643 votes. That's more than 14%, which I know for a fact we've had many municipal elections in the past that have not broken double digits. So that's fantastic to see so many people wanting to get involved. Councilwoman Riley.
I just have a couple shout outs. First of all, I want to look at Mr. Davis, and I want to tell him, and I don't know if I have told you this, but thank you so much for everything that you do. I like the idea of your coffee with the city manager. I think that's an amazing way for our residents to be able to see you firsthand, talk to you eye to eye, and ask any questions they feel that they need to ask that will increase their quality of life and their well-being as residents of the city. Thank you so much for doing that. I think that's a very personal means of establishing a great relationship with the city residents. Second one is Dr. Shu has left here, but I'm going to bounce off Bryce a little bit with that one. I know Nick had mentioned some good things about Dr. Shu, but I just want to personally thank him for all that he has done, because I have a great relationship with the Shu Foundation, and I just want to thank Dr. Shu for stepping in at a time that was most needed for our youth in the Lovejoy area, and giving us a drone and helping us to put a team together to compete with other area schools. And from 2-3 years ago, he did this, and we continue to hold strong. So just want to shout out for him. And if I've not told you, Attorney Burns, and I feel like this is not my last will and testimony, but I just feel like in my heart is telling me to say the heartfelt things that I'm feeling right now. I absolutely want to thank you personally also for all the good legal advice that you give, and you're just an amazing attorney, and I love seeing you sitting there and giving us your advice.
Thank you.
And I'm through.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilman Walker.
Jason, once again, always thank you for that wonderful email that you send out. It just keeps us so informed of everything that you have going on, which involves us. So I just love seeing that's a great communication tool. And like Ms. Riley said, I know it's good for you to be out there in the community and answering questions, good and bad, and getting peppered, good and bad. Yeah, so it's nice to have you out there. So thank you for that. And looking forward to the results of the election as well. So that's it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Berry.
Yes, I mentioned this to you often, the weekly meetings with you. I really appreciate that. I haven't had that with previous city managers, and be able to get the feedback from you, and more. You know, and you're always available. You know, if I call or text you or whatever. Also, I wanted to say the Florida Power and Light Symposium was always very, very, very good. I enjoyed that. There's a lot of good information and all. And also with the rec center, I think I sent an email this morning or so. I've been here since 1970, and I know you guys are tired of hearing me say that, but I love this city. And I've been at that recreation center and the old senior center. I mopped the floors. And I just want to say, I saw you were showing how much it costs to do this and do that. You forget that the people that come there love being there. We do a lot of the work, the setting up. That was what I was mostly concerned with. We volunteer to set up the chairs. We volunteer to do put the tables. We bring food. We bring all the things out of our own pockets. So I want you to include that whenever you start breaking down the numbers.
That was just a public records request, and I don't know that we have more data if it's volunteer time.
Yeah.
It's good
Yeah.
point.
So I just want, and the people that go there, they enjoy it. You know, the parking lot, let me tell you, and I live there near there, and they want to cut through my yard, and they want to park in my yard, the driveway, you know, and they were all the way down Jet Drive, closer to, and almost to Robinwood, you know, so we need the extra parking, you know, for what's going on. So, thank you.
That's my fault. I did tell some people to park in your driveway.
You're not the only one. Let me tell you, I can go on and on. So, anyway.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilman Jeter.
Yes, sir. It's also positive tonight. I enjoy this quick, positive meeting. Hopefully, more like this tonight. I could echo what everybody said. Mr. Burns, great legal advice. Chief Beige for keeping us safe. Mr. Davis, yes, all the hands-on you're doing, the meetings that you're doing. Love our emails and weekly recaps, certainly. To echo the golf course, what you were saying earlier, I remember sitting here a year or so ago and we were doing the greens, and then we raised the rates, and it was a little, you know, contentious at that time, but I've heard nothing but great things about the greens. So great job, Jacob, taking care of them from adults. Great job on the school programming, all the schools. There's 4 or 5 schools that play and practice out there. So good stuff all around. And I'll finish that with what Councilmember Schmidt said last meeting. I think we're all looking forward to the results, but regardless of what those results are, the sun comes up tomorrow. We live in a great place, in a great state, in a great country. And, well, I guess most all of us still got to go to work tomorrow. So I know there's might be some retired people in here, but regardless of the results, we live in a great place and we still got to go to work tomorrow. So I look forward to the next positive meeting that we had tonight.
Thank you, sir. Well said. I'll just add 2 quick things here at the end. One, I feel like all of the things that I hear you talk about, Councilman Jeter, up here, a lot of times happened to me just the other night when a gentleman in my neighborhood was riding an e-bike and had a dog off a leash, and the dog came running at my dog, and I said, I swear to God, Councilman Jeter somehow set this up. But I wanted to use that as a way to compliment you, Chief Beige, because I know that Councilman Jeter had brought up the e-bike situation, and I've been seeing that e-bike and police officers on e-bikes all over the city, and it looks good, and it just makes you feel good about the community, and to see officers out there on those things, it's fantastic. Secondly, I wanted to make one more plea for public safety, and I know we have these great speed zone cameras. At least I think they're great because I don't speed by schools in our communities. But right now the weather's getting warmer. Kids are playing outside. Dogs are outside. People are feeling the want to be outside and outdoors in their neighborhoods. Don't speed in neighborhoods, no matter what. I mean, there's state roads out there. State troopers are patrolling those. Do what you like, but you know, keep it within reason. When you're in somebody's neighborhood, man, keep it at the speed limit or below. Like 25 is 25. The reason it's such a low speed limit is kid kicks a ball, kid runs out into the street. Dog gets off the leash, dog is being walked off the leash on a man on an e-bike. You're going 40 miles an hour and at 25, your reaction time is so much less. And it just takes one accident to change your life forever, to change that person you hit's life forever, and everybody's family and friends involved. So slow it down in the neighborhoods. I know everyone in this room follows that, but I know a lot of people like to watch these meetings online. And I know Jared from Get the Coast likes to make GIFs of all of us. One of mine has been shared more than 70 million times. I'm pretty popular now. I get it text or email to me probably at least once a week with somebody seeing it for the first time. So hopefully he can make one out of slow down in the neighborhoods. All right, we're adjourned.
It is a pretty good one.